I'm so excited to have one of my heroes here. It's lovely to have you here. Boy George, welcome. It's really special to have you here on your birthday.
It is, yeah.
But you're a hard worker, and you've got a busy old time ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when people say hard work, I mean, listen, I don't do a regular job where I have to get up and be in the office at a certain time. Yeah, of course, sometimes you have a schedule, but I kind of enjoy what I do. So I feel like if you bring fun into what you do, it's not really work, and I try to avoid people. When people say, "Oh, you're tired," I'm always like, "No, don't say that around me," because it can be quite catching, like a cold, the tiredness. And you look tired. No, well, I'm not. Just need to put my eyebrows on. Leave me alone, because you can sort of get dragged into that.
I find that really resonates with me, because I've been doing breakfast years for a long time, and I agree. I took the word tired out of my vocabulary. Again, people are like, "Oh, you must be tired." It's like, hey, let's take it as a given that I probably don't get enough sleep, but I love what I do. And if I've got that narrative, that I'm tired or this or that, and I go, this is hardly work, this is brilliant. I
mean, I make art, so, I have to kind of really fixate on it and really give it my full attention. And when you do that with anything, it tends to become much more fun.
We have so much to talk about. First, though, let's play, one of my favourite tunes. This is Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? You're also someone who is ever evolving, and we'll get to that. We'll get to other projects that you've done. But the most exciting news is that you are taking your first 2 Culture Club albums out on tour, which is just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one that's always pushing to add other songs to the set, because you do end up kind of just doing certain ones, and the fans, when you ask them, they come up with the most random things.
Yeah.
Interesting, going back to Kissing to Be Clever, there's a song on there called Mr. Man, and I realised listening back to it that we're still, in terms of writing, I'm still having the same conversations about the world. Nothing's changed. It's just was more naive then.
Yeah.
Now it's a bit more educated, but then it was like, God, why is everyone so uptight? About this, about that, about things that, I always feel like we're talking about a lot of things that my generation thought we dealt with.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, really? We're still having conversations about that stuff? Come on.
Everybody thinking, be kind and be thoughtful. You'd hope that we're being less judgy of each other, or do you not think we are?
I think people are more judgy of themselves because they're all exposed.
Yeah.
So there's a pressure. I don't feel that pressure because I come from a different generation where, people say to me, you're a fashion icon. I'm not interested in fashion. I'm interested in style. That's a different thing.
Okay.
That can be wearing a bin liner. But I look for things that are individual and, just more about who I am as a person, whatever that means. It sounds terribly pretentious, but I wouldn't want to turn up at a party and be wearing the same jacket as Gary Barlow. Any look better than me would be the way.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I've got the last one.
That's not. We're going to play a tune, and what a tune it is. We're going to play "Time," which is just gorgeous. Is it? Is it one of your favourite songs to play? To sing?
Yeah, and it's it's one of those. It was more mature sound for us, like more soulful, more American. Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Stylistics. It was kind of paying homage to those types of artists.
So, what memories does this song bring back for you?
I'm such a different person now. I mean, obviously, when I wrote it, it was a heartbreak song, but now my heart's not broken, so it's different. I don't feel the same way about it, but I can see that it resonates with people.
Yeah.
Because everyone finds love challenging.
It's just an absolutely stunning song. It's one of my favourite all-time songs. Let's hear it now. Very excited that you are touring arenas across the UK and Ireland this December. Do you like the process of being on tour?
Yeah, I love touring. Yeah, I love touring. I love every show. I always enjoy trying to connect with the audience. I don't never walk on thinking there's a bad audience. Sometimes people say, tough audience, like, no.
Yeah.
Because then your job is to seduce them, to make them chill out. And, obviously, when I go and see bands, I'm amazed that bands don't talk to the audience. Mm-hmm. All right, London. I'm like, I don't shut up.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm like in their face. If I see someone on the phone, I'm like, having fun on the internet.
Yeah.
I think that, the more you disarm the public, like the audience, the more that they Because if you're in a bad mood, and I've done that, I've been on stage and
Can they tell?
Oh, yeah, I've taken my rage on stage with me. It doesn't work. You think it's like, oh, I'm being real, but actually you're just being a drag.
Yeah, it's like don't take your bills to work, isn't
it?
Exactly. What are the fans like? I'm thinking, obviously now we've got, Taylor Swift touring and people make friendship bracelets and trade them. They people seem to have a thing. Do people still dress up as you from the mid 80s, or is that kind of fallen away now?
There's a few kind of fans that, do my look now. There's a couple of incredible lookalikes.
Do you prefer that rather than harking back?
No, I've got no problem with anyone dressing as anything they want. It's fascinating sometimes how people think I looked.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's close, but sometimes people do it and it's so well done. And but listen, I always love to see anyone dressed up having a good time. So, if I see someone in the audience and they're working a look, I'll say, oh, look at you, you're fabulous. And, it's a nice thing to... But there's no pressure to dress up at gigs. If you want to, you can.
Yeah.
If you don't, you don't have to either. It's not compulsory. You can't come unless you're in drag.
We have more from Boy George after this. We're going to play Church of the Poison Mind, which it was robbed of a #1 spot in this country. I know you know who by, and I know you probably won't mind because of who it was.
Was it George Michael?
No.
Was it?
Your hero.
Oh, Bowie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, back in the day, I probably would have cared greatly.
Yeah.
Because you get sucked into that whole, you become an expert on record sales and it's all very boring. Now, of course, wouldn't think twice about it. And, perfect person to be, knocked off by David Bowie. He was my hero. So... Yeah, but I think at the time I would have been fuming.
But it was, it didn't, Let's Dance got to #1. This didn't, but it was an absolutely brilliant track. So, they say don't meet your heroes, but presumably you met David Bowie. Did you get to know him well?
A few times.
Yeah.
He was adorable.
Yeah.
He knew I was a fan.
Yeah.
And he knew me before I was famous because he remembered me.
Yeah.
Because he said, because I said to him when I met him, I've never met you before. And he goes, you have. And I was like, you remember that? You cannot possibly. He goes, yeah. He goes, you were looking. Because when I met Bowie, I had like this mad hair and I was wearing a kimono and looking absolutely freaky. And
he's not going to forget that.
He remembered. And I was really impressed. And then when I obviously once I got famous, I met him. I saw him once in the airport in Australia and I was like, what do I do now? Because I'm famous too. And he's my hero. Do I speak to him? And it was all like, I didn't. I was too nervous. I thought, what if he's rude to me? I didn't know, if he might be unfriendly. But when I met him physically, sat down with him, had dinner with him, he couldn't have been nicer. And I had a friend with me and he was so nice to my friend, made my friend feel really welcome and, was joking with him and just lovely, just absolutely lovely.
Now, there's many things to talk to you about. You'll kill me for wasting time talking about this, but you were also on the A-Team, right?
I was,
Which was, how does that come about?
It was... What's funny about the A-Team thing is that the other boys were desperate to be in Miami Vice because all the cool people were in Miami Vice, but we got offered the A-Team. I got offered the A-Team. Actually, originally, Culture Club weren't on it, and they kicked off, so they created a scene for them, and then they all ended up doing it. But what was funny about the A-Team was that George Peppard, the late George Peppard, said to me, because they were all arguing. And I was like, it's just like Culture Club. Because he said, like, this one won't turn up because he doesn't like this one. And there was a lot of feuding in the A-Team. The real actors didn't get on.
Oh, that's a shame.
And it was like, it's like Culture Club. It was hilarious. And he was apologizing to me and I was laughing.
If you could be parachuted into a scene now from a TV show, what would you like to be asked to be on? Are we talking Bridgerton?
Dynasty.
Oh, nice.
It's just that when I saw you in the lobby, I suspected I might find something like this. Something like what? The sound of someone being killed. I bet if you had a gun, you'd kill me too, wouldn't you, Blake?
He's ready. He is ready. Let's get Dynasty back on the screen. Okay, we have more from the fabulous Boy George after this. Boy George, we're going to play one more track, which is Karma Chameleon.
Yes.
Which is a huge tune.
It is, and it's one of those songs I don't really... I sort of know what it's about. It came from... Because I grew up with T-Rex, it was like... Remember the T-Rex song, Salamander, Palaganda, Metal Guru, She Was Born to Be My Unit, all these mad titles. So I often used to come up with the title, Karma Chameleon, because it was like a great starting point. And then I sort of used a lot of metaphors. I'm very metaphorical when I write, and a lot of nuance. So it's about my relationship, but it was also just about, people not really knowing who they are. Calm a chameleon changes its colour, So yeah, it was a very abstract pop song.
I only learnt this morning that the video was filmed in Weybridge. I mean, I thought you were in New Orleans or something on that Mississippi steamer.
No, and our look the whole video is totally Bridgerton. It's like the whole thing. Everyone's in Edwardian costumes. And at this time, people were saying, it's out of context. Because we had like every race possible in Victorian clothes. And people were like, it doesn't make any sense. And we're like, well, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy video. It's like, it was also a really good way to try and put like that message into, the videos. That was like about multiculturalism and everybody being the same, and there was no separation. Quite Buddhist in a way.
Let's play Calm a Chameleon, and thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.